From the Fox 10 Gulf Stream, this is Next Weather.
Well, you know what's right around the corner? Tropical season. And how do we prepare? It's never too early to prepare. For more on that, here is meteorologist Jennifer Lambers.
Hurricane season is only a month away, and now is the time to prepare your home. Now, in anticipation of the season beginning, the Insurance Institute for Business and Home Safety, or IBHS, released its 2024 Rating the States report. Now, this evaluates building code adoption, enforcement, and contractor licensing in 18 states along the hurricane coast from Texas to Maine. Now, out of the 18 states, Alabama ranked 17th with only a score of 30 out of 100. Now, here to break down these findings is Dr. Ann Cope, the chief engineer with IBHS. And Dr. Cope, can you tell me more about the Rating the States report?
So IBHS has been doing Rating the States for several years now. This is our 5th edition, and we are looking at how well the 18 states that make up the hurricane coastline are adopting and enforcing building codes, because that means a lot for community resilience against strong winds.
And with this report, Alabama did not finish that high. So what was the reasoning for that?
So Alabama is not scoring that well as a state in the Rating the States because it doesn't have a statewide building code. Now, I want to differentiate that, Alabama is really a tale of two cities in this particular event, because the counties, Mobile County and Baldwin County, are actually doing a really good job. Katrina came ashore and people looked around and said, this is not what we want for our communities. And there was a beautiful grassroots effort. Business people, public policymakers, insurers, builders, people got together and said, where can we find better information? They reached out to IBHS and we provided them with the information that's in the Fortified program, and most of that is in that coastal supplement that makes up the codes for Mobile and Baldwin counties, and they are doing a fantastic job. The rest of Alabama needs to, wake up and pay attention and follow suit. All of those areas up where Tuscaloosa and Birmingham have experienced their own high wind events on the fringes of the tornadoes, those communities can benefit from the type of codes that Mobile and Baldwin counties are using. And if Mobile and Baldwin were to score just by themselves, those two counties, they would get a B for code adoption, not the failing grade that the entire state of Alabama gets.
What can Alabama do, in your opinion, to improve its ranking?
So if areas in the northern parts of Alabama, up around Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Montgomery, if those areas adopt the type of codes that we see in Mobile and Baldwin counties, resilience can be there for all people in Alabama.
What advice would you give to residential and commercial property owners as we approach Hurricane Preparedness Week, which begins next week?
Hurricane Preparedness Week is a great time to take stock and see what needs to be done to be as ready as possible for hurricane season. Take a look around your property. Are there any gutters hanging loose? Are there any branches that need to be trimmed? Is there any routine maintenance that needs to take place? Those type of maintenance impacts can give your building the best fighting chance. Make sure it's in the proper shape, well maintained before hurricane season. Check your insurance policy. Have a conversation with your agent. Make sure you know what's in that policy and that everything is buttoned up before hurricane season starts. It's just like getting ready for football season. You don't wait till the last minute to buy all your tailgating gear. You have it ready before that first game. Same thing for hurricane season. Just be ready.
And Dr. Cope, where can our viewers go to learn more about this report and how they can improve their home?
IBHS.org is the place to go to learn more about Rating the States. It's also the place you want to go to learn more about how to make your own home more resilient. Get prepared for hurricane season, get prepared for thunderstorms. All that great information that you need is right there at IBHS.org.
All right, termite swarm season is here. Have you seen them? These swarms are really common in the late spring, often around May, and especially after a significant rain like the one we saw on Tuesday. And these swarms are very impressive. Experts say right around Mother's Day is the time when the termites come out in swarms, and the Gulf Coast is one of the worst places nationwide for termites because of high humidity. Termites love to eat wood, especially rotten wood. So they do they eat the wood from the inside out, leaving a thin skin for protection, so they can eat up a board or a part of your house without you knowing it until it's too late. It becomes a nuisance because for most they swarm in large numbers, and then you're stuck with the homeowner having to clean it all up. And Austin Key is a service manager for Arrow Exterminators, and he tells Fox 10 that winged termites rise from the underground, and they're coming out of their nest to find a mate. And these swarms are not really a direct threat. When you see the swarms, it doesn't mean you have termites in your house. It just means that there is a colony nearby, and if a mating pair gets together, they can form a new colony down the road. Hopefully that's not in your house. You can see one right there on my shirt from last night. So definitely something that we're looking at nationally. The damage is typically about $5 billion a year, and that's more than a fire, a flood, or even a small hurricane, with the exception of a major hurricane. Here are a few ways that you can protect your house from the termite swarms. Number one, turn off lights, especially outside, and if they're inside, you want to close the windows and doors. Also, don't stack firewood near the house, because that's a great place for a termite colony to get started. A termite can wiggle in an area as small as about an inch or less and build huge nests, and can cost a lot of money. They can hide in vents and around stoves, underneath the bathtub, and a foundation of a house. So if you see a swarm inside a house or a building, you know you may have a likely infestation. If they're outside, it's just part of a way of life here across the Gulf Coast, and that swarm season lasts until mid-June.